Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're unpacking something literally every modern business leader needs to wrap their head around: setting AI risk criteria. And specifically, we're looking at this through the lens of the ISO/IEC 42001 guardrails. We're going to break down exactly how to stop treating artificial intelligence like some magic, unpredictable black box and start managing it like the incredibly powerful, yet highly risky tool it actually is.
To really grasp why these guardrails matter, we have to ask a pretty uncomfortable question. What actually happens when AI goes rogue? The source material paints a really stark picture here, and we aren't just talking about a chatbot writing a weird poem. We are talking about catastrophic, real-world failures. Think about autonomous vehicle crashes, where the AI just completely fails to recognize a pedestrian. Think about biased healthcare diagnostics misdiagnosing patients because of flawed training data, or racist lending algorithms that unfairly deny credit to entire demographics. When AI operates without hard boundaries, the consequences are severe.
And that brings us to a really crucial quote right from the source material. AI should not replace human judgment, but rather augment it. This right here establishes the ultimate solution, and it highlights the massive stakes for modern businesses. You absolutely cannot just plug an AI system into your company and walk away. It demands structure, oversight, and a very strictly defined set of rules. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The Wild West of AI. 2. Setting your AI guardrails. 3. Risk appetite versus tolerance. 4. Embedding ethics in AI. 5. Human-in-the-loop oversight. And 6. Building trustworthy AI systems. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The Wild West of AI. Let's look at unmanaged AI risks.
Think of deploying unmanaged AI right now like handing the keys of a high-performance sports car to a teenager with no brakes. Sure, the raw, explosive power is definitely there, but without a control system, a devastating crash is literally just a matter of time. We're dealing with algorithmic bias and discrimination, like facial recognition systems completely failing people of color. We face massive data privacy and security breaches. Then there's the lack of transparency, the whole black box AI problem, where an algorithm makes a high-stakes decision, but even the developers can't explain how it got there. And finally, unintended operational failures. The source material gives this great example of a smart grid AI causing a massive power outage during a storm simply because it couldn't balance the load properly.
Moving to Section 2. Setting your AI guardrails. It's time to tame this landscape.
We need a systematic way to rein all this in, and that ultimate safety net is ISO/IEC 42001. It's a comprehensive international standard guiding the responsible, ethical, and secure development and governance of AI systems. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like a boring compliance checklist you just fill out and stick in a drawer. Actually, scratch that. It is the definitive blueprint for surviving and thriving in the AI age. It fundamentally shifts an organization's entire mindset from reactive panic to proactive management using a risk management framework. It's this continuous lifecycle journey. Step 1. Identify. You systematically find potential hazards, like biased data. Step 2. Assess. Evaluate the likelihood and the impact of those risks. Step 3. Mitigate. Apply controls to actually reduce that risk. And Step 4. Monitor. Continuously watch the system after it's deployed. It's just a constant, rigorous loop of risk-based thinking.
Section 3. Risk appetite versus tolerance. Let's define those boundary lines.
These are the most critical boundary lines business leaders have to draw before they even think about deploying an AI system. Risk appetite is the amount of risk an organization is willing to accept to pursue its goals. Risk tolerance is the acceptable variation in performance relative to that risk, defining the absolute boundaries. Let's use our guardrails analogy again, all right? Your risk appetite is how fast you want to drive to pursue your goal of getting there quickly. Your risk tolerance is how close to the actual cliff edge you can survive driving without falling off and destroying the car entirely. You have to be crystal clear on both of these thresholds. And how do we actually measure those boundaries? Well, we evaluate criteria by likelihood versus impact severity. The really crucial point here is that a risk might have a super low likelihood of happening, but an absolutely massive impact. The source gives a perfect example for this, an AI financial forecasting glitch. It might have a very low likelihood of occurring, right? But if it does happen, the financial loss could be absolutely catastrophic. Because that impact severity is so high, that risk must be heavily mitigated, even if it's super unlikely to happen. All right, Section 4. Embedding ethics in AI. Time to talk about the moral compass.
So, we are transitioning now from the technical speed limits of risk management to the actual moral compass of the AI system itself. A huge operational trap organizations fall into is algorithmic bias. This is when AI models inherit prejudices directly from their training data, leading to totally unfair or discriminatory outcomes. Historical data acts as a massive trap here. The source specifically mentions biased AI recruitment tools. Let's say a company's historical hiring data overwhelmingly favors one specific demographic. Well, an AI trained on that data is going to learn those patterns and inadvertently downgrade highly qualified applicants from other demographics. It just ends up automating past prejudices without any context.
To combat this, the ISO standard mandates these core ethical pillars of AI. We're talking fairness and non-discrimination, transparency and explainability, accountability, and privacy and data protection. And listen, these are not just corporate buzzwords. They are structural necessities. For example, if your AI processes personal data, respecting privacy means you literally must comply with strict legal regulations like the GDPR in Europe or HIPAA in the US. You have to build these ethical frameworks directly into the code.
Which brings us to Section 5, Human-in-the-Loop Oversight, the ultimate failsafe.
No matter how incredibly advanced the technology gets, human control is completely non-negotiable. AI simply needs a human safety net. Yes, AI can process vast mountains of data at lightning speed, way faster than any human brain ever could, but it currently lacks human context, nuance, and empathy. When an AI hits a weird edge case it hasn't seen before, it doesn't always know how to adapt safely. And that is exactly why humans absolutely must remain in charge of the final outcomes.
To enforce this, the standard requires clear escalation procedures. Step 1. The AI encounters uncertainty or ambiguity. Step 2. The system immediately flags this for human review. Step 3. A human operator steps in and makes the final decision. Think about a really high-stakes application, like a judicial AI being used to predict recidivism. You absolutely cannot allow black box sentencing. The AI might offer up a data-driven recommendation, sure, but human judges have to intervene, review the reasoning, and make the final call to ensure the system is actually functioning fairly. Finally, Section 6, Building Trustworthy AI Systems. Let's look at this in practice.
So how do all these theoretical guardrails, these ethical pillars, and these human oversight mechanisms actually come together in day-to-day practice? Well, to practically manage AI risk, a business has to cleanly divide responsibility. You've got an AI ethics committee, completely dedicated to ensuring the system is operating fairly. You have an AI oversight committee, usually senior management, making sure the AI aligns with overall business goals and legal requirements. And you have AI risk management teams, who are out there in the trenches continuously identifying and mitigating technical vulnerabilities. It really does take a village to govern an AI.
But there is a massive warning here that you simply cannot ignore. Beware of model drift. AI systems are not static pieces of software. Over time, as they encounter new, real-world data and changing environments, their performance degrades, or they can even develop entirely new biases. A model that was perfectly safe and totally compliant on day 1, it might be highly risky by month 6. This makes continuous post-deployment auditing an absolute necessity for survival. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to really chew on. Is your organization's AI driving blindly, or do you have the ISO 42001 guardrails securely in place? We've seen today that AI is an unbelievably powerful engine for innovation, for sure, but without clearly defining your risk appetite, embedding core ethics, and demanding strict human oversight, you're just driving a sports car with no brakes right toward a cliff edge. I really hope this explainer has given you the clear, structured understanding you need to go back and evaluate your own organization's AI readiness. Thanks so much for diving into this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.